You just hired a VA. You are so excited. Finally, help is here. So you send them a few logins, a quick overview, and say, let me know if you have any questions. And then you wait. 3 weeks later, you're frustrated. They keep asking you basic questions. They're not doing the things the way you want them to. You're spending more time explaining than you were spending doing the work yourself. And you're wondering, did I hire the wrong person? Maybe, but probably not. Probably you just onboarded them wrong. Today I'm going to show you how to onboard a virtual assistant the right way. So then you can actually succeed and you can get your time back. What we all want, right? I'm Lauren Apple and I'm a scaling strategist for CEO parents, and I have placed hundreds of executive assistants through my agency and now my direct to hire service. And I've seen what separates the hires that become true partners from the ones that flame out in 90 days. And I can tell you, it's almost never about the person. It's about the onboarding. If you're a CEO parent who's overwhelmed, working way too many hours, and you know you need help, but you're not sure how to set someone up for success, this video today is for you. And if you want the complete onboarding system I use with every placement, I created a free VA onboarding roadmap that walks you through the entire 30-day process. The link to that is going to be in the description below. Grab it now so you can follow along. Let's jump right in. Here's the harsh truth. Most VA hires fail not because of the VA. They fail because of the onboarding, or rather the lack of onboarding. Here's what most people do. They hire someone, they send a few logins and passwords, they give a quick verbal explanation of what they need, and then they say, ask me if you have any questions. And then they expect the VA to figure it all out. That's not onboarding. That's abandonment. And it sets your VA up to fail before they even start. I've seen this pattern hundreds of times. CEO parent hires help because they're drowning. They're working 50, 60, sometimes 70 hours a week, and they're missing time with their kids. They finally take the leap and they hire someone. And then they don't invest in the onboarding because they don't have time to invest in the onboarding. They're too busy being overwhelmed. So they throw the VA in and they hope for the best. And it doesn't work. And they think, see, I can't get good help. I just have to do everything myself. But that's not the lesson. The lesson is onboarding is the investment that makes everything else work. Real onboarding takes time, intention, and structure. It's an investment up front that pays off massively on the back end. A well-onboarded VA can be genuinely independent in 30 days. A poorly onboarded VA will still be asking basic questions in 90. Same person, different outcome. The difference is the system. I've developed this system over years of placing EAs with CEO parents. And when clients follow it, the results are transformational. They go from working 60 hours a week to 30. They go from checking email at their kids' soccer game to being fully present. They go from doing everything themselves to having a true partner who anticipates their needs. That's what good onboarding creates. If you want the complete system, grab the free VA onboarding roadmap in the description below. It breaks down exactly what to do before they start, and in week 1, weeks 2 and 3, and week 4 and beyond. Let me walk you through that framework now. Onboarding doesn't begin on day 1. It begins before day 1. Here's what you need to have ready before your VA starts. First, clear documentation of your core processes. I'm not talking about a 100-page operations manual. I know so many of you have that. I'm talking about the 5 to 10 processes they'll be doing most often. How do you handle client inquiries? How do you schedule calls? How do you process invoices? How do you respond to common emails? Get these documented with step-by-step instructions. written SOPs, Loom videos, or both. Something they can reference without asking you. If it's not documented, it lives in your head. And if it lives in your head, you become the bottleneck. Second, a list of all the tools and logins they'll need. Not scattered across emails and sticky notes. One organized document with everything they need access to. Tools, login credentials, who has admin access, how to get help with each tool. Set this up before they start so day one isn't spent on logistics. Third, clarity on outcomes. This is huge and most people miss it. We delegate outcomes, not tasks. So before they start, get clear on what outcomes you want them to own. Not check my email, but I want my inbox to feel calm, that I only see what requires my response. Not manage my calendar, but instead, my calendar is protected. No calls before 9 a.m., no calls after 3 p.m. Fridays are blocked. What does success actually look like? Write it down so you can communicate it clearly. Fourth, a 30-day plan. Map out what you're going to cover each week. Week 1, these processes. Week 2, these processes. Week 3, expanding responsibility. Week 4, operating more independently. This gives structure to the onboarding instead of just winging it. The first week sets the tone for everything. Here's how to make it count. Day 1 is about context, not tasks. Don't throw them into work immediately. Spend day 1 giving them the big picture. What's your business about? Who are your clients? What are your values? What matters most to you in how things are done? What are your boundaries and your non-negotiables? This context alone helps them make better decisions later. When they understand the why, they can figure out the how. Also, on day 1, walk through your communication expectations. How do you want them to communicate with you? How quickly should they respond? When should they ask questions versus figure it out? What tools do you use for what? The clearer you are up front, the fewer frustrations later. Days 2 through 5 are about core processes. Pick your highest volume tasks, the things they'll do most often. Walk through each one together. Not just here's the SOP, actually do it together. Show them how you do it, explain your thinking out loud, answer their questions in real time, then have them do it while you watch. Give feedback immediately. Let them practice. This takes time. I know, so much time, but it's faster than re-explaining it 14 times over the next 3 months. End the first week with a check-in. What's going well? What's confusing? What do you need from me? What questions do you have? Start the feedback loop early. All right, phase 3, weeks 2 and 3. This is the expanding phase. Each week you're adding more responsibility onto their plate, more processes, more autonomy, more complexity, but you're doing it gradually, not all at once. Week 2, you might add client communication processes, additional tools, more complex tasks, but you're still checking in regularly. Daily quick syncs at first, then moving to every other day as they need less guidance. Week 3, you're pulling back more. Less control, less managing, they're handling more on their own. You're answering fewer questions, they're starting to anticipate what you need, but you're still having those structured check-ins. Here's something important. During weeks 2 and 3, expect mistakes. They will happen. Your VA is learning your business, your preferences, your way of doing things. They're going to get things wrong. I guarantee it. How you handle those mistakes matters. It matters more than you can imagine. If you freak out, they'll be afraid to try things. That's not what you want. If you criticize harshly, they're gonna ask you about everything instead of using their own judgment. Instead, treat mistakes as teaching opportunities. Here's what happened. Here's why it didn't work. Here's what to do differently. Calm, clear, constructive. You're building their confidence, not destroying it. All right, phase 4, week 4 and beyond. By week 4, you should be moving into maintenance mode. Your VA is handling most things independently. You have weekly check-ins instead of daily. They're solving problems without running everything by you. Here's what week 4 looks like. Weekly check-ins. Same questions every time. What went well this week? What was challenging? Any questions or things you're unsure about? What do you need from me? And most importantly, is there anything I'm doing that's making your job harder? That last question matters. Sometimes you are the bottleneck and you don't even realize it. Give them permission to tell you. Continued feedback. Onboarding doesn't end after 30 days. The feedback loop continues forever. Quick notes when something was great, quick corrections when something needs adjusting. Keep the communication flowing. Expanded responsibility. As they master the initial responsibilities, you can add more. And do it intentionally, not all at once. One new area at a time. Let them get solid before adding the next thing. And let me dive into some specific tactics with you. Some things that can accelerate onboarding. Tactic 1, create a how I work document. This is a document that explains you got it, your communication style, your pet peeves, your preferences on how things are done, how you like to receive information, what makes you frustrated, what you love. The more your VA understands how you operate, the better they can support you. I have a Working with Lauren document that I share with everyone, okay? It shortcuts so much confusion. Tactic 2, use Loom excessively, okay? When you're explaining something, record a Loom. When you're giving feedback, record a Loom walking through it. When you're walking through a process, record a Loom. It's so much faster than typing. It captures nuance and tone, and your VA can rewatch it over and over again whenever they need to. Build a library of Loom videos. It becomes your training resource. Tactic 3, create a questions and answers running doc. When your VA asks a question, add it to a shared doc along with your answer. Over time, this becomes an FAQ document. Before they ask you, they check the doc. The questions that come up repeatedly become SOPs. This captures institutional knowledge and reduces repeated questions. Tactic 4, give them a win in week 1. In the first week, give them one task they can complete and feel good about. Something small but real. Something that lets them contribute value early on. This builds confidence and momentum. Don't make the first week all learning and no doing. Let them win early. Tactic 5, be available but not hovering. Your VA needs to be able to reach you during onboarding. If they have a question and can't get an answer for 24 hours, they're stuck. Be responsive during the first few weeks, but don't hover. Don't check in every hour. All right? Don't micromanage every task. Let them try things. Let them figure some things out. Be available when they need you, but give them space to develop independence. Let me tell you what good onboarding produces. I've placed hundreds of EAs through my direct to hire service, and I can tell you the onboarding is what separates the great placements from the mediocre ones. When clients invest in onboarding, the VA becomes a true partner within 30 to 60 days. They're anticipating needs. They're solving problems independently just like you want. They're protecting your boundaries. They're making the CEO's life easier, not harder. One client went from working 65 hours a week to closing her laptop at 4 p.m. every day. Another reclaimed his weekends completely. His EA handles everything that used to pile up. Another told me she finally made it to every single one of her kids' soccer games last season. That's a huge win. That's what good onboarding creates. Not just a hire, a transformation for you, the CEO. When a client skips onboarding, it's a mess. 3 months in, the VA still asks basic questions, the CEO is frustrated, the VA feels like they're failing, and everyone thinks the hire was bad. But the hire wasn't bad, the onboarding was. The investment you make in the first 30 days determines everything that follows. So here's what I want you to do. If you already have a VA and it's not going well, ask yourself, did I actually onboard them? Or did I just throw them in and hope for the best? It's not too late to reset. Schedule a week of re-onboarding. Go back to the basics. Document processes together. Create clarity. You can salvage a struggling VA relationship with intentional onboarding. If you're about to hire a VA, don't hire until you're ready to onboard. Get your documentation ready. Get your outcomes clear. Get your 30-day plan mapped out. The hire isn't the first step, preparation is. Grab the free VA onboarding roadmap, link is in the description. It walks you through exactly what to prepare, what to cover each week, and how to set your VA up to become a true partner. And if you want help finding the right person, someone who's already been vetted for values alignment and working style, that's what our direct to hire EA placement is all about. I don't just find you a person, I find you the right person, help you onboard them, and make sure the hire actually works. Link for that is in the description as well. The VA isn't the problem. The onboarding is the problem. Invest in it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.